Tonight's action from the FA Cup on Sky Sports, bringing you the best football service in the world, is presented in association with Carlsberg.
Allen put Chelsea ahead. It looked for a long time as if Ian Porterfield was going to dump his beloved Sunderland out of the cup. Malcolm Crosby, however, felt a strong sense of injustice that Allen's goal should never have been allowed. In the end, justice was done. John Byrne kept up his remarkable goal-scoring record to bring us back to Roker for what should be one of the great shootouts. Our football on Sky Sports tonight is the FA Cup quarter-final replay between Sunderland and Chelsea, exclusively live from Roker Park. Just like old times at Roker, cup fever has gripped Britain's newest city all over again, nearly 20 years after Sunderland wrote one of the most extraordinary chapters in FA Cup history. None of us will ever forget 73, I'm sure. And the win against Leeds, the holders. Great atmosphere here tonight. One or two made the journey north from London. It's bitterly cold, blustery wind, but none of us really cares. Another wonderful night in prospect here on Sky Sports. Sunderland and Chelsea head-to-head, and something has got to give. We've got extra time and penalties if needs be. The match kicks off at 7:45. Chelsea aren't here just for the ride, but they can almost sniff Wembley in this football-mad city.
You don't have to be football crazy to live here on Wearside, but it helps, particularly when you're trying to get yourself a ticket for the big game of the season. Last Sunday, 18,000 tickets went on sale here at Roker Park. 3 hours to sell the
Came here about 5:30 this morning, just after. Snow on the ground, absolutely bitterly cold, and we got the deck chairs out. Good crowd of lads, we had a good laugh.
From the moment John Byrne's header set up this replay at Roker Park, they've been drooling with anticipation here on Wearside. Not that anyone here usually needs an excuse to start drooling about football.
Is there anything as important up here as football?
Not to me, no.
Women?
Like me football better.
The remarkable thing is, though, that the women don't seem to mind. In fact, here at Ox Close Junior School in Washington, both boys and girls play soccer, 21 a side, and a woman as referee.
I took a football coaching course at college, and it's coming very useful.
You're a bit of a football fan yourself tonight, because everybody else on Wearside seems to be.
Yes, I think you can't help getting caught up in it. Yeah, you've got to be either Newcastle or Sunderland. Yeah,
Which
there's
are
no
you?
one in between. Sunderland.
Well, as a season ticket holder, yes, I'm very keen on Sunderland, but I respect the children's decisions to support whichever team they wish.
Who was the one with the Sunderland pyjamas?
Me?
That was you?
Yeah.
You had Sunderland pyjamas, do you?
Yeah.
You still got them?
No.
What happened to them?
Mum threw them out because I had holding.
Time was, of course, when there weren't things like team pyjamas. You simply went to bed in your football kit and hoped Mum didn't notice. But these days, they market the game a little differently, and nowhere more so than here on Wearside.
Physiotherapist, yes. You know what a physiotherapist is?
Last week, for example, the children from Ox Close School had a day out at Roker Park, part of an ongoing initiative by the club to bring it even closer to the community it serves.
The last time I bought a concert.
But perhaps no one better exemplifies this bond between the community and its football club than Vic Hallam. Out pumping the flesh in the run-up to the election, he's the Liberal Democrat candidate in Sunderland North, although he's perhaps better known for being a member of the Sunderland Cup-winning side of 73.
In the 70s, when the Sunderland side was particularly successful, then every sector of the community benefited from it. There were less absenteeism at work. There was more effort put in. People were happier. They had a better disposition. And I think, you know, that stemmed directly from the success that and the direction that Sunderland Football Club was generating.
One way or another, this soccer-crazy town's not had a lot to shout about since 1973, either on or off the field. But now the town has become a city, and their club are on the brink of a cup semi-final. Maybe things are finally looking up for Sunderland.
Graham Simmons reporting. Thank you, Graham. Sunderland against Chelsea, FA Cup quarter-final replay. It's live here on Sky Sports tonight. Kicks off at 7:45. Our first guest, a fellow who's set more records in recent years than his beloved Sunderland, that's for sure, Steve Cram. Welcome, Steve. You saw the first one, of course.
Yeah, from a neighbour's house, because he had colour television. We only had black and white in those days.
I mean, you watched that home then, 73?
Yeah, I was 12-year-old, and my dad didn't think it was suitable for me to go all the way down to London, even to watch Sunderland at that stage. But I was disappointed, but obviously delighted with the result on the day.
And they've seen it time and again in this part of the world, I know, but let's remind ourselves of Ian Porterfield's winning goal. What a moment. You were out of your seat for this, I would imagine.
I was out of my seat. What I can remember most vividly, actually, is about an hour later, going outside, down on the bit of grass out behind our house, about 4 other lads, and all of us wanting to play. Nobody wanted to take the corner. Everybody wanted to be in Porterfield, sticking it in the net. But, practicing that, taking it on the chest and taking it in.
What a day,
it in.
What a day.
Fantastic, yeah. We haven't had many days like that since, obviously. In fact, probably the biggest night since then we've had was in '85 in the Littlewood semi-final, which was actually against Chelsea here, when we got 2 penalties and won 2-0, and then went down and won the second leg down at Stamford Bridge. So let's hope we get a similar result here.
Lost the final, mind.
I wasn't going to mention that.
Malcolm Crosby. What a job he's doing here. What do the fans make of Malcolm Crosby?
Well, they love him, obviously, because he's been doing very well. He's been in a difficult position. I think he was obviously thrown in at the deep end when Dennis left. And it's basically the same team. He hasn't done anything different with the team, but the players have responded to him. And we've had a great run in the Cup, which has been very, very important. He's a nice guy. He's a straightforward guy, and I think people up here like straightforward people, especially after the business we had with Laurie and everything. And I don't think the fans really necessarily want to see a big name brought in. I think they're quite happy.
You that. Malcolm's got the job now, we know, until the end of the season. It's a very difficult position for him to be in, isn't it? You rather get the feeling that he might win the Cup for Sunderland, if that happened, and still not get the job.
Well, I mean, that is possible, obviously. You know, the chairman is the only man who knows what's going to happen at the end of the season. But at least they've given him until the end of the season. They've now said, right, OK, you know, you have whatever happens in the Cup, we aren't going to, you know, the likelihood is we're not going to get promoted into Division 1.
But you feel there's a groundswell of feeling that he's got the fans' stamp of approval?
Well, of course he has, because the team are doing well, and that's what they want to see here. They want to see success, and if Malcolm Crosby can give it to them, they'll be very happy.
Great nights these at Roker, aren't they? There are plans for a new stadium, I know, which in a way is a shame, because this is special, isn't it, Roker Park?
Well, it is, but as I said before, unfortunately we haven't had enough good nights. Hopefully the fans who've come tonight, who don't normally come on a Saturday afternoon, will see the lads do themselves justice. They were brilliant down at Stamford Bridge, did very, very well. They've had some tough games in the Cup run. I just hope they can turn it on for the fans tonight.
They reckon the Roker Roar is worth a goal start. Would you go along with that?
Well, yes, but I think it also puts them under a little bit of pressure. They haven't been playing as well at home as they have in some of their away games, certainly in the Cup anyway. And they will feel a little bit of pressure, the expectation from the big crowd here. But, you know, Chelsea are going to feel under a lot of pressure as well. They're the first division side. They didn't do it down at Stamford Bridge. They've got to come here, and they've got a very, very hard job on their hands.
Well, it's great to see you, Steve. I know you watch every home match here and make the trips away when you can. So go and join your mates, and if things go well and you fancy it, we may see you a little bit later on in the programme.
Yes, if they don't go well, don't ask me back.
Steve, thanks for joining us.
Cheers.
Wonderful night in Prospect, as I said, here on Sky Sports, the channel where, in fact, you saw how well Sunderland played in the first leg, didn't they just? This FA Cup quarter-final tie, live tonight. This really is the place to be. Roker Park. Roker Park, Sunderland Chelsea, live on Sky Sports tonight. FA Cup quarter-final tie, kicks off 7:45. If this is your first Sky Sports football match, I know a lot of people have been joining us in recent days and weeks, particularly for the cricket. Welcome along. Welcome to Sky Television. 1 or 2 surprises in the Chelsea lineup. Let's find out what's happening on the team news front. Nick Collins is waiting for us. Nick, welcome.
Well, obviously a great night here on Wearside, perhaps the biggest night of the Cup so far. Marvellous atmosphere building up. Just a quick look at the pitch, it feels fairly firm, so I don't think we'll have any problems there. The factor that could be decisive, though, is a blustery wind blowing in off the North Sea. That really could make things quite interesting and even quite difficult tonight. Let's have a quick look at the two teams, starting, of course, with Sunderland. And in goal for Sunderland is Tony Norman. The back four for Sunderland, it's John Kay, Paul Hardiman, Kevin Ball, he comes in for this tie, having missed the first game at Stamford Bridge, and Anton Rogan. Then in midfield for Sunderland, it's Brian Atkinson, Peter Davenport, David Rush, and Paul Bracewell, a man who's had 3 losers' medals. I wonder if he could be 4th time lucky this year. Up front, of course, Gordon Armstrong and Sunderland's lucky charm, John Byrne, the man who scored in every round so far. Sunderland, of course, managed by caretaker manager Malcolm Crosby. He's got the job for the rest of the season at least, but he'd like it on a permanent basis. We were talking to him before the game as he assessed how he thought it would go.
Well, obviously, we're confident that we can go out there and try and get the win, but we know that it's going to be a difficult game. After all, they are First Division side.
But it should be a wonderful night, nevertheless.
Well, I hope so, and obviously we'll hope we come out on top.
We're on to Chelsea now, and they've made a few changes from the side that began at Stamford Bridge last week. In goal for them, it's Dave Besant. They've opted for the former Cup-winning goalkeeper. He takes Kevin Hitchcock's place. The defence for Chelsea, well, it's Steve Clarke. He comes into the side. Paul Elliott and Jason Cundy in central defence, and Frank Sinclair comes in the left-back position. In midfield, Dennis Wise, Vinnie Jones. He, of course, missed the first game at Stamford Bridge. He could be a key figure tonight. Andy Townsend and Graham Lasso. And up front for Chelsea, well, another surprise there. Kerry Dixon, of course, and Tony Cascarino replacing Clive Allen, the man who scored at Stamford Bridge in the first game. Well, of course, not many people will probably need reminding, but Ian Porterfield is the Chelsea manager. We spoke to him a little earlier about his return to Roker Park.
Well, I mean, they're going to have, 20-odd thousand people shouting them on, which will encourage them. But at the end of the day, in the FA Cup, I mean, home advantage sometimes doesn't count for as much as people think.
Well, it's all set for a great night. I'm really looking forward to hearing the Roker roar when the teams come out. But now it's back to Richard in the studio.
Nick, thanks very much. Nothing like a live FA Cup night on television, is there? Incidentally, if you're enjoying Sky Sports, tell your mates about us. They'll probably appreciate that. Our guests, Crammy's gone, Peter Osgood on the far end, and the gentleman nearest to me, Jim Montgomery, one of the celebrated school of 73, Jim. Yeah. Memories flooding back tonight, I would think.
Yeah, fabulous, yeah, same atmosphere, crowd, superb.
I say Jim, it's Jimmy in these parts.
Jimmy, Jim, whatever. Yeah, usually Jimmy. Yeah.
Just remind us, you're doing what these days?
I'm a sports editor in Durham. And I also, believe it or not...
From Chelsea?
Certainly is, yes. They're playing the two good big guys up front, and a bit of a surprise, even Clive Allen, one of the few people who's been scoring goals for him.
Yes, you reeled when you heard that news.
Certainly did, yes. I mean, he's got him out in a couple of scrapes, especially Everton game, and the first game as well, let's be fair. I mean, he's a hard man to leave out, because, I mean, you can't sort of keep him quiet for 90 minutes, and I'm a bit disappointed with that, but we'll wait and see.
Well, we'll see just how hard now, as we remind ourselves about the story so far. In round 4, Clive Allen had Howard Kendall and Everton in his sights.
Wise it is who takes it. Kerry Dixon is there, and then Clive Allen! Oh, what a goal! From Clive Allen, he's done it again! Oh, here's Beagrie. Can he get there? And is that going to be a penalty? It is! Penalty kick. Hitchcock catching Beagrie. And Everton have the chance of a lifeline. And Hitchcock has saved it! Hitchcock has saved it! Kendall can't believe it on the bench.
Sunderland went to Oxford. They cruised into a 3-goal lead and then stopped playing. A stiff examination for Oxford, which they almost passed. Sunderland edged through 3-2. A bridge too far for Dave Bassett in round 5. A moment of pure class buried Sheffield United.
Plenty of grass underfoot in the wide positions, and Stewart has opened it up, and he scored! A superb solo goal for Chelsea. Dean against the bar, and it's come back Chelsea's way.
After Wrexham, West Ham went east, northeast to a blustery Roker Park.
Shot through from Keane and from Maxwell, and it's a goal. Now off goes Davenport. Potts has come across to cover him. Good cross though, and it surely had to be a goal, but no. Somehow they kept it out. Now it's gone in off Byrne. Well, that was an astonishing goal.
So it was back to the capital, and Sunderland love playing in London.
Nights like these, always a sizzling atmosphere, and that's a terrible mistake. And this could be the goal, and it is for Byrne. 7th minute, terrible mistake in the West Ham defence, and John Byrne pounces. The Sunderland fans go into ecstasy. Ball thumps it away, and Davenport picks it up. And here's Byrne again. Can he run here? He's got Dix challenging. Great turn from Byrne, and a chance, and that's another one. Sunderland are 2 up, and Byrne's got them both. Martin Allen, good diagonal run from him. Still Allen, it's all opening up for him, and he scored. Martin Allen puts West Ham back in business. 7 minutes to half-time. Is it going to be a Julian Dix thunderbolt? Or something perhaps a bit more subtle from Allen? It's Allen, not very subtle, but it's in! 2-2! He's got his 2nd goal of the night. Beats Potts in the air, finds Rush. Brady comes over, he drops in there, and Rush has scored! Rush has scored for Sunderland. And this tie swings again.
Another 3-2, 2 more for Byrne, which set up this 6th round tie. A full house at Stamford Bridge. Allen on the mark again, and Byrne.
There's a bad slip. It allowed Byrne in with a chance here. He's got a 2nd chance, and again Hitchcock has saved the day. There are 2 on the line behind him. Trying to attack it. Townsend in there, Dixon in there. Blocked on the line, Allen has scored! But it might still happen. For Kerry Dixon. For Stewart! Dixon. Elliott. Wilson! And it looked as though Clive Allen was going to get a... Bracewell. And it will come for Byrne. John Byrne has placed the header in. And Sunderland get their deserts. And he's scored in every game in this extraordinary cup run. Bracewell to Byrne, to the back of the net.
Into the back of the net and back to Roker Park. Sunderland against Chelsea, live tonight, this FA Cup quarter-final replay. And of course we get a decision, extra time and penalties if needs be. We'll talk about that first game in a moment or so with Peter Osgood and Jimmy Montgomery. Before we do that, Jim, as we look outside, think back to the days when you used to play here.
Well, I mean, going back to my days, I mean, you're looking at 56,000 Manchester United games, cup ties, you know. But even at 30,000, the crowd will be fantastic tonight. And to me, it could be worth at least a 1-goal start if it doesn't overall the Sunderland players.
Yes, but Steve Cram made that point, that sometimes it has the opposite effect.
Sometimes the opposite effect, definitely. But I think with the, you know, there's a good mixture of elderly ones and young ones, and I think the other ones will bring them through a bit.
Lovely playing surface.
Superb playing surface. The only thing about the wind situation, but I think the Sunderland players are used to playing in that. We get it every game up here.
Yeah, I was going to mention the wind. It is a very blustery evening. Well, I think it is. For you, it's a pretty normal night, is it?
Well, I think this is pretty calm tonight.
John Byrne. You love him, I think, don't you?
John is, I mean, he's been superb since he's arrived at Sunderland. I mean, Smithy bought him, and
Dennis Smith
bought him, the previous manager. And, you know, he holds the ball up well. He allows the midfield men to come up. Great balance. And the main thing, he can put the ball in the back of the net.
And he is the lucky charm, isn't he?
He's the lucky charm.
Scored in every round.
He scored every round. Could have had more. But he's the man that was tonight.
Peter? No Clive Allen. Let's go back to that. Perhaps Chelsea have picked a team that will suit the conditions.
Yes, well, obviously he's brought big Dave Bessant in straight away. I mean, obviously he's going to go. He had a torrid time early on in the season. Obviously he's come back to his best form now, and he is a good goalkeeper. There's no doubt about it. He's been to Wembley. He knows all about the cup, so he'll be looking forward to tonight.
He played Saturday. I think Kevin Hitchcock strayed aside in the first tie, didn't he? That's perhaps why Dave is in and has kept his place.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, he deserves it. I mean, you know, he's worked hard. He's never complained. You know, that's what you want to see from a professional. You see people that are like crybabies. They get dropped for one game and they want to transfer. Stuck to his guns, the big fella, and I hope he does well tonight. Deserves it.
Underlining what you're saying, apparently there's no injury involved. He's got the nod tonight, first choice. You think he's better for the big occasion, Jim?
I think so, yeah. I think his experience, especially in these conditions, favour him in place of Hitchcock, definitely. Yeah, his experience should bolster the defence. I think he's a good talker as well, Dave. This is going to be imperative.
Well, you better than anybody know how difficult these conditions can be up here, for goalkeepers particularly.
Well, you see Dave there now. I mean, he's testing the wind. I mean, sometimes it's coming through, sometimes it's holding back on him, and it is tremendously difficult conditions. I mean, keepers decide to come for a ball, and suddenly it hangs in the air. They're in the wrong position then. So it is going to be extremely difficult now for keepers. I think this is going to be one of the key factors. You know, we talk about Byrne, we talk about Clive not playing. But I think this is going to be one of the key situations, the goalkeeping situations tonight. Who comes out on top?
OK, kicks off at 7:45, remember. If you've made your choice and you're with us tonight, great to have your company. I think we have got some match in prospect here this evening. Sunderland against Chelsea, led by Kerry Dixon, of course. And it's live on Sky Sports. Welcome back. A little bit of magic off the field by way of pre-match entertainment. Sunderland will be looking to John Byrne to provide that on the park tonight. Chelsea, Cascarino or Dixon, they've taken the big gamble and left Clive Allen out. This quarter-final tie live on Sky Sports tonight. Sunderland against Chelsea. One or two have made the trip north, as you can see. Full house at Roker. Some night in prospect. Don't forget our Carlsberg Man of the Match competition. You know by now, I'm sure, what you've got to do. Watch the game. At the end, we'll ask you to name your Carlsberg Man of the Match. If you vote for the overall poll winner, you could win one of our weekly prizes, a Carlsberg sports bag full of various goodies. Stage 2 comes in May, when all our weekly winners go into a draw. The winner then gets a family day out for the match between England and Brazil at Wembley, which is a nice prize. The telephone number? Well, it's the same as usual, 0898 500 125. 0898 500 125. Carlsberg Man of the Match. And the decision's yours. We'll let you know who's won Friday evening with Matt Lorenzo on Sky Soccer Weekend. Peter Osgood and Jim Montgomery joining us this evening. Peter, the first match at Stamford Bridge. As I said at the top, Malcolm Crosby felt there was an injustice of sorts on the night, and he was right, I think, wasn't he?
Well, watching the replay, there obviously was, yes, it didn't go for it. It wasn't deflected for a corner at all. But these things even themselves out. You know, you only sort of quib about them when they're in a big game. And obviously, he felt a bit hard done by. But at the end of the day, I mean, you know, it was a fair result, one each.
Here's the confirmation.
Here you see it now. And it looks as though he's got a deflection, I think, from the player. I think that's what he thinks, more than the keeper, to be honest.
But he didn't.
No. I think he thinks the defender's got there and got a touch here. That's what I think. I don't think he's judged the goalkeeper at all.
As you say, these things do have a habit of evening themselves out. But no Allen, just to underline that, who you fancy out here tonight, particularly in the wind. It's his sort of evening, you think?
Well, it's the goal he got in the first game, Richard. I mean, it was an opportunist goal, you see. The ball's come in, and there he is, 6 yards out, knocking it in. And tonight, you see the cross comes across. He's lost his marker. He's great at doing this already. They're all at 6s and 7s there. Who does it fall to? But Clive Allen, he's there on his own, look. And that's what it's going to be like tonight. There's going to be half chances in the box. As Jim says, a very swirling wind out there, and with the guys challenging for the ball, there are going to be a few knockdowns, and it's ideal for a goal poacher, and that's exactly what Clive is. And he's the best at it as well.
Great angle that. And that, of course, put Chelsea in front, which is where they stayed for the most part.
Yeah.
But John Byrne, as he had done in all the previous games, popped up and a good equaliser too.
Superb equaliser, yeah. Superb.
We can have a look at that, Jim.
Yeah. There's an up and under from Bracewell. And I mean, he's took the header superbly well.
The only thing he really could have done with that, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's the only spot he could have beat the young lad. I mean, the young lad's got a great position. And, you know, just in a perfect spot. But this
so
is
you
what
wouldn't be
John's
too
right.
disappointed with Hitchcock here. He's calm, he's changed his mind, he's gone back.
Initially, I think he was going to go out for the cross, change his mind, but he still wasn't in a bad position. And I mean, he was balanced, and that is how good the header was.
I remember what you said to me when we met in the summer, looking back on that 73 Cup final. Your advice to keepers is if you're unsure, stay on your line.
If in doubt, stay, yeah. And I think if he had stayed in his 6-yard box, then I think he'd had a better chance of getting it. But having said that, I mean, the header was superb. And this is John Byrne, like Peter said. Clive Allen is exactly the same situation. A prolific goal scorer. And John's proven that this season with Sunderland.
Difficult trade goalkeeping, Peter, isn't it? They all go great.
Well, I'm glad Hitchcock's not playing. He don't deserve it, because John Byrne scored in every round. He's going to spoil my record. So, no, it was a great goal, as Jim says. The keeper was in two minds, and in all fairness, it's come over his shoulder. He's had to just glance, and he's knocked it. Great header. I mean, and that's the sort of goals these guys are going to score.
Well, we're not too far away now. Kicks off at 7:45. Let's go outside and soak up some of the atmosphere. The Roker Roar, the popular end, almost full. It's a sellout tonight. It's a special night, an FA Cup night. Sunderland against Chelsea is live, as you can see, on Sky. Welcome back. Roker under the lights. The prize tonight, a place in the semi-finals of the FA Cup. Chelsea end, of course, one of those Italian flags. Bookies are finding it impossible to separate them tonight, these two. The odds, well, there they are. That's how tight the bookies think it'll be. We'll get an outcome, of course, extra time, penalties beckoning, if we can't sort it out in 90 minutes. Jim Montgomery, quickly, where's your money?
Sunderland 2-0.
Sunderland 2-0. Peter?
Chelsea 1-0, Dixon scoring.
OK, well, settle back. Any jobs at home not done now? It's too late. Get the drinks in if you're out and about in the pubs and the clubs. The whole of this match coming up now, live on Sky Sports. And who says television's a glamour job? There's a fella outside there tonight would disagree. Lenny Lawrence, the manager of Borough, and Martin Tyler, our commentators.
Well, Richard, it is a glamorous job because it's a privilege to be here on a night of such drama. It's certainly windy, and it isn't a night for commentators to keep notes because they will swirl out into the night, into the North Sea, I'm sure. The wind is gusting behind us. Swirl out into the night, into the North Sea, I'm sure. The wind is gusting behind us. "25,000 Sunderland supporters crammed into Roker Park, all of them ticket holders under the membership scheme. But it's still a far cry from Roker Park's record crowd of 75,000. That's hard to imagine, really. By coincidence, it was for an FA Cup quarter-final replay back in 1933. Our thanks to Lenny Lawrence for braving the elements to come and join us tonight. Lenny, your opinion on what we might see?
I think it's going to be a very close game. Chelsea's selection's interesting. Bringing back Cascarino and David Besson in goal. Obviously, they've looked at perhaps the lack of height in Sunderland's defence, and Sunderland are a good attacking side, get a lot of players forward. It should be a very keenly contested game. I hope for the North East that Sunderland win.
Territorially, the advantage has certainly swung Sunderland's way. Psychologically, well, we'll have to wait and see. Chelsea seized up rather in the second half at Stamford Bridge. Can they play as poorly again? Can Sunderland play as well? one of them will be an FA Cup semi-finalist by the end of the evening. Sunderland show just one change from the side which did so well at Stamford Bridge. Kevin Ball, who was suspended then, is available tonight to cover for Gary Bennett, a casualty at Chelsea. Left-back Paul Hardiman bruised a foot against Watford on Saturday, and while the remainder of the team were resting this morning, he had to undergo what proved to be a successful test on that injury. So this is the Sunderland style, a basic 4-4-2. Paul Bracewell, the captain, such an important influence there in the middle of midfield. With the record signing Don Goodman cut-tied, of course, Peter Davenport continues to partner John Byrne up front. Ian Porterfield has used 18 players in Chelsea's past 3 games. He brought them all north yesterday, and this 11, the outcome of lengthy deliberation. Dave Besant getting the vote over Kevin Hitchcock in goal. Dennis Wise, who's gone off the boil recently, returns in midfield, and no Clive Allen. Chelsea going for size and strength up front with Tony Cascarino alongside Kerry Dixon. With Steve Clarke and Frank Sinclair, the fullbacks tonight. Vinnie Jones returning from his suspension and Graham Nassau back in favour. Incredibly, there are 6 changes from the Chelsea side in the first game, and Ian Porterfield has been at pains since he's arrived back at Roker Park to point out the depth in his squad, and that these days it is a game for the squad and not just for a select 11. Tony Cascarino, Chelsea might regard as a lucky charm. His record against Sunderland in the colours of Gillingham, he sent them to the 3rd division for the first time in their history with 5 goals against Sunderland in the playoff, 2 of them here at Roker Park, and he got 2 in Aston Villa's colours in a first division game here a year ago. Ian Porterfield, a hero from Sunderland's past. John Byrne, a hero from their present. Absolutely brilliant run. 7 consecutive FA Cup ties, including the 2 that he played for Brighton against Liverpool last season. 7 games in which he's scored at least 1 goal. Malcolm Crosby, the caretaker manager with the Harpo Marx haircut. And a smile. He may not be so relaxed once we get underway. Terry Holbrook, the referee, man enough to apologise for a mistake he made in the first game in awarding a corner to Chelsea from which they scored. It's an occupational hazard for referees. They can't get everything right. The wind is blowing. The crowd is roaring at Roker. And here's Wise. Well, Ian Porterfield must be something like a chef who has all the ingredients, but he's never quite sure what flavour the dish will be. Clarke. Davenport chasing, and Jason Cundy is there. The pitch in very good condition. Both sides will appreciate that, but they won't appreciate the win. He's going to make a mockery, really, of the considered pass, the deft touch. But it's the type of weather that they're used to up here in the northeast. I'm sure Lenny Lawrence has had to come to terms with that down on Teesside, a few miles away. Graham Lasso, Frank Sinclair sprinting outside him. An encouraging start from Sinclair, who's got the vote tonight over Andy Myers. Sinclair had a rather controversial spell on loan with West Bromwich Albion, in which he ended up with a 9-game suspension. Elliott. One character, Lenny, back for Chelsea, Vinnie Jones, who has really become a natural leader of men.
Yeah, I think he'll be a major influence on the proceedings, and his absence was significant in the first game. I think this is just his cup of tea. It's going to be a battle for Chelsea, obviously, and as I say, I think his presence will be significant.
A couple of hours ago, the wind was actually blowing directly across the pitch from the near side as you're looking, but it's veered away now to come slightly more from the left, so it may favour Chelsea before half-time. Andy Townsend would have preferred that to have dropped onto the left foot. But we may well see more of Townsend driving forward from midfield than we did a week ago last Monday, when Ian Porterfield did ask him to hold his position a little more. Both sets of supporters, indeed both sets of players, will recognise the length of time since either club was in an FA Cup semi-final. For Chelsea, it was 1970 when they went on to win the trophy for the only time. Hardiman pressed by Dixon. The long throw from Jones, with Cascarino and Dixon in the centre, may be a telling force, particularly when it is wind assisted.
It's interesting that with Cascarino's height, Paul Elliott coming up and Kerry Dixon as well, they're not too well endowed for height, the Sunderland back four, with it in the absence of Bennett, so that might cause him a problem, especially as you say if the throw's wind assisted. He made a lot of ground with that throw there.
Armstrong. It's going to be awkward for Sunderland to get the ball out of their own half. But at least they play in these conditions often, and Tony Norman will have faced this particular challenge many times in the past. The challenge being to try and propel the ball towards the halfway line. He's caught it very well. It's a terrific kick. Armstrong climbed well. Dixon just cut across in front of Rogan, and the ball veering beyond the head of Clark. Elliott coming into the back of Armstrong. Kevin Ball making his way forward on the far side for Sunderland. Hardiman and Bracewell addressing possibilities at the free kick. Hardiman takes it, and it beats them all. Cascarino letting it run out of play. Sunderland lost in the second division at Watford on Saturday, and they have dropped down to 17th in the table. We've got some major matches coming up in the league as well. The Cup certainly cheers, but it can be a distraction. Bristol City come here on Saturday with a certain Dennis Smith as their manager, and after that it's away to Newcastle. Here's Bracewell. Oh, and Besant was surely fouled. He got the ball safely.
It's a feature of their play, Sunderland. They're a good cross inside. They get the ball into the box every opportunity, and they get a lot of players in the box as well, although Besant cut that one out. That's something Chelsea's got to watch for, and they've got to make sure they mark up on those crosses. As I say, they're a good crossing side, and they get plenty of bodies in the box.
The challenge going from Armstrong. Besant, one of 3 of this Chelsea team who won the FA Cup with Wimbledon 4 years ago. Vinnie Jones and Dennis Wise, the other 2, of course. Townsend. Sunderland really going a-hunting here. Townsend claiming that he was fouled, and the referee agrees. Well, it's the kind of work rate that Malcolm Crosby will appreciate. Cascarino calling for it as Clark takes the free kick. Once the ball gets that high, you never know where it's going to drop. Dixon. Turn back into Bracewell. Now the stage is set for Jones again. Launched himself, but in such a manner as to attract the whistle of the referee. Paul Elliott, his 28th birthday today.
And I sold him 9 years ago from Charlton this week to Luton to set him off on his career, so it's pleasing to see he's done so well over the years, and I'm sure he'll be a major influence tonight. Sunderland have just got a problem there with those long throws. If they let the ball bounce, they're going to have problems, and they need to try and attack it and get the ball away before it pitches.
Clark trying to roll it in behind Harding, and he's done just that. Cascarino. The Clive Allen decision must have been a difficult one for Ian Porterfield. I would say that he's not the first manager to perhaps believe that away from home, Clive Allen isn't necessarily the right man for a particular job on a particular day. That's no disrespect to his goal-scoring quality, which doesn't need any extra explaining from me. Besant!
Early cross from Sunderland there, which Besant fumbled. And once again, they got 1 or 2 people just looking to pick up the pieces there, Sunderland.
Came to him as it hit the ground. Had it got away from the grasp a second time, Chelsea could have been a goal down. Well, Chelsea have been talking about the presence of Dave Besant in their goal. That's part of the reason why he's been preferred to Kevin Hitchcock, who's played pretty well in the cup run. But I think the feeling was at Stamford Bridge that he might have taken some blame for the goal. Norman's got to come here, and he's read it very well. Nodded away from Dixon. Jones getting back. Here's Cundy. Now Sinclair. Well, Chelsea switched the ball from right to left on the ground then, with commendable confidence, appreciating the excellence of the surface. Chelsea have had 2 league games since the 6th-round saga started. 2 days after the match at Stamford Bridge, they went to Norwich and won with a much-changed team, a number of whom have survived in the selection until tonight, and survived the home defeat by Coventry on Saturday. Bracewell. The flag stayed down. Gordon Armstrong from midfield is a genuine goal threat. He's scored 9 this season. Momentarily got beyond Hardiman. It's another area Chelsea will be checking just how Dennis Wise responds to being left out of the last two matches. It's one of those nights, if you win, you pick the right team. If you don't, there'll be questions asked. Dixon.
There's a danger to Sunderland from set plays there. Dixon's come off the line and he's got a free header in from that near post corner. They've got to make sure they tighten up on that, Sunderland. Otherwise they're going to have problems.
Of course it was from a right-wing corner that Chelsea took the lead in the first meeting. A corner that, by universal agreement, shouldn't have been awarded. Davenport. Here's Byrne, but Sinclair's got speed. And he's just played in a cup quarter-final and scored the winning goal, but it was the Middlesex Senior Cup. Not quite the same. Clark. Ball running away from Atkinson. They call themselves the caring club, Sunderland. They certainly try to work with the community. They're not alone, of course, in football in that respect. What they really do have are caring supporters. The passion generated here is exceptional. Bracewell. Here's Rush, who's the striker being asked to toil unselfishly down the right-hand side to do a job for Malcolm Crosby. I'm sure Rush would rather be doing the job given to Davenport tonight. Kane. Here is Davenport. It's a feature of Sunderland in the second half at Stamford Bridge, the work of Davenport and Byrne. Their mobility was exceptional, and Chelsea, who now have a corner to defend, were freely admitting that the draw rather flattered them. Hardiman to take the corner. Rogan waiting by the near post. Byrne just behind him. Armstrong coming in from deep. Powerfully away by Jones. Here's Kay. Three to the left for Sunderland. One of them is Davenport. Armstrong with him. Davenport's made room for his own shot. It's deflected. We'll never know what might have happened had it continued on its way.
It's a great ball from John Kay there, switch play, and Sunderland had a man over on that side. Got a good striker in the goal.
Corners on the left, entrusted to Brian Atkinson. Dixon doing well for Chelsea. Atkinson tries again. Gets past Townsend. Most skillfully, it's a great ball. It had the goalkeeper bamboozled for a moment. That's flicked off Elliott, and it's in. Gordon Armstrong. No, it's not going to count.
And lucky there, Sunderland. That's two great early crosses. One that got cleared away, and the second one was just marginally offside. They get the ball into the box very, very well indeed.
With 15 minutes gone, Armstrong felt he was moving forward as the ball was played, but the linesman was right in line, and it's still 0-0. Cascarino. Well, it is going to be a night of slips and mistakes, of moments that defenders will dread, and Paul Elliott had a real problem before the ball reached Gordon Armstrong and he put it in the net, he flailed away and didn't really make contact. But still a reaction amongst the Sunderland fans of disappointment and disgruntled sounds. Came off ball behind for a corner. Elliott waiting on the edge of the area. But it was well away from him. Was alive to that, and in clearing the ball he set Chelsea on here with Cascarino. But just for a second Sunderland were praying that Peter Davenport would get there before Dave Besant at the other end. Clark. Sure you're picking up the wind noise on our microphones. When the ball's on the deck, a sure approach from Sunderland. John Byrne isn't just a penalty area player. He's very comfortable getting involved in the build-up, and he's not frightened to take players on. Obviously heeded those words. We're in the 20th minute. Hardiman. That was off Elliott. Past Byrne. They left Lasso upfield in Chelsea. Wise. Sinclair. Rush, there's no offside, and Byrne takes on Elliott, slipped past him, Besant pushes it out, 1-0 Sunderland, Peter Davenport. The delight is sustained this time. There was no linesman to mar the joy because Chelsea got it wrong. Byrne had so much space in which to express himself.
It was a great break out of defence. Byrne ran at Paul Elliott and turned him inside out, got a great strike in, and Davenport was on hand to knock the rebound in. Sunderland have really come into the game in the last 10 or 15 minutes, and that should set them up nicely.
Well, both these Sunderland strikers know that they're playing for their places, strange though it might seem, with Don Goodman ready to come back in the league games. They're both very involved in this scoreline. Peter Davenport's goal and John Byrne, this time the creator of it. Roker Park is rocking here. Byrne. Jones did well. Chelsea will look to him now. Cascarino, so doing the width on the left-hand side. Atkinson getting the better of Jones. Davenport, who perhaps lacks the strength of many of the modern-day strikers. Certainly has the stealth and the subtlety in his play. And when he's on song, as he clearly has been in both these FA Cup quarter-finals, you can see why he played for England a few years ago.
You can indeed.
Marvellous for Malcolm Crosby, but still a long way to go. Off goes Dixon. The announcement earlier this week that he would stay as caretaker manager until the end of the season was timely, although many Sunderland supporters felt that it had been long delayed. He wants the job, and he's going to have an even better chance of getting it on a permanent basis if he can steer Sunderland to the semi-final.
Quite right as well. He's done a great job since he's taken over, and I'm pleased to see him get it until the end of the season. Hopefully he can go on and do the job on a permanent basis. He's really got the team playing at the moment.
Dixon. Well, the problem started for Chelsea when Byrne was allowed to turn and run at them. He slipped Elliott perfectly. Davenport picked up the pieces. Rush. Past Sinclair. Cross comes Cundy. John Kay just beckoning Rush towards him to try and draw Chelsea out. They're not really having too much of that. Elliott couldn't win it cleanly. That was Davenport again.
Sunderland have got their passing game going nicely now, and I think Chelsea's back four are playing too far up the pitch. They're trying to hold too rigid a line, and Sunderland's passing and movement is going to cause them problems if they're not careful.
Rogan standing his ground. Davenport for Byrne. So well found by Besant, who controlled the kick, keeping it low on the half volley. Doesn't want to dwell too much on the past, but there are so many similarities between 1992 and 1973, when Sunderland of the second division then won the hearts of the country. And Bob Stokoe, who was a little cautious as to say whether he was going to come to Roker Park. He has mixed feelings now about Sunderland, and of course working with Chelsea. But it was his team in '73. Ian Porterfield had that major starring role. Oddly, one of the first things that Bob Stokoe did when he took over in the November of that season, so there was a managerial change then, as there has been this season, was to switch the Sunderland strip back to wearing black shorts, which has always been the tradition. And viewers who watched our coverage of the first game may have noticed they wore red at Stamford Bridge, which they didn't want to do, but had to do with a possible clash. And a clash of a different kind here, involving John Kay and Andy Townsend. I mention the colours because it is a night of tradition. People do look for omens in the past. The omens are good at the moment for Sunderland. About 27 minutes, long enough for Peter Davenport to tilt it for the moment Sunderland's way. Header from Jones and from Cascarino. Looking at the tactics of the two sides, Lenny, they're very similar with four in midfield.
Actually started off with a very tight 4-4-2 formation with Cascarino and Dixon at the front. They've got plenty of pace in their team, but unfortunately for them, Sunderland have got into their passing game in the last quarter of an hour. They've made one or two fierce challenges, and obviously their confidence has grown visibly. They've also got the same shape, but a slightly different style of play.
Too much, okay. Don't forget that there must be a decision tonight, even should it go to penalties. Sunderland had a shootout in the Zenith competition last season, which they won against Notts County. Chelsea have had one this season, which they also won. The same tournament against Ipswich. The importance here in the football sense is self-evident, but financially it means a great deal to both clubs as well. Chelsea's difficulties in that direction well documented. Sunderland considering a move to a new stadium. They're going to have a referendum with their supporters on that subject. Rush. Davenport couldn't quite find the right angle for Byrne that time. And again, Tony Norman, that's the second time. He's been well placed to win a race with Dixon. Minutes to go to half-time. It's a corner, and this is an area where Chelsea might feel that they're well equipped to catch Sunderland out, with Cascarino's presence, with Elliott of course as well. And Dixon, Cascarino. Dixon was appealing for a handball in there, and then he had his mind back on the match to deliver the header, which Norman picked up down by his feet.
It's a close escape for Sunderland there. They let the ball at the front post get a touch on, and then having cleared the ball, when the ball came back across the face of the goal, Dixon got a clear header in. They're leaving two upper corners, Sunderland, and employing a zonal system of defence, and hopefully that will keep them out, but they need to mark tighter than that.
Great spot. Hardiman galloping forward here. Armstrong's in the middle. Here he is, Gordon Armstrong. And once more the linesman would have wiped out what might have been a moment of celebration for Armstrong.
Another good early cross. Great position the boy took up there, and a little bit unlucky with the offside decision.
It was Byrne who'd gone offside. Wise. Chelsea and Terry Holbrook, the referee, look across the linesman as to whether the back pass might have just had too much strength for Tony Norman to deal with. Play on was the outcome. Rush. Well, he cost just over £200,000, and Lenny, you have to go into the transfer market. He's 31 now, John Byrne. Age sometimes is a misleading factor, perhaps.
Yeah, it's been a great buy for Sunderland. He's done a tremendous job for them. You know, his enthusiasm's been renewed since he came here, and he's scored in every round of the cup. And he's done a great job. The problem is with buying players at that age, obviously, often you don't get your money back. But he's more than repaid it.
It's his touch for Rush. Rogan solidly, two ex-Celtic players in the centre of the respective defence. With Rogan and Elliott catching up on the news when they met before the game. A corner for Chelsea, having found value at the near post at their previous corner.
They've adjusted a little bit this time, Sunderland.
Cascarino still got to it, but the flick, which dropped right on the line, wasn't forced over it.
Cascarino's height is a problem for them, and they just haven't got anybody at the back who can cope with him in the air. He's 2 or 3 inches taller, and if the service is as good as Wise's was there, they're going to get a problem.
It was Kevin Ball, I think, who got it up over his own bar, which was a splendid piece of defending. Elliott!
Went to the far post that time, and Paul Elliott has got a clear header in, and they were a little bit fortunate that went wide, or was it deflected? No, it's a goal kick.
Came off Vinnie Jones. But this is where Chelsea are at their most dangerous, at the set plays. Sunderland's lead has looked precarious, but a lead it is. Oh, Hardiman, it's got there, but only just. Playing it on his weaker side. Townsend, Jones in the engine room. He's been a winner here with Leeds, he's been a winner here with Sheffield United. This Chelsea team are losing. Cundy, Rogan, off goes Byrne and Davenport. Elliott was able to readjust. Second division with one representative already in the semi-finals in Portsmouth. The ex-Portsmouth man Hardiman crosses. Besant.
Another good cross which nearly had Dave Besant in trouble there, but he just got a hand to it and managed to touch it into him.
Very keen to get rid of the ball quickly down the wind and push Chelsea on. Cascarino would probably have run beyond him, the sheer speed of the ball. He had to try and take the pace off it somehow. So Sunderland throw. Davenport. Armstrong had come in from the left-hand side, as he loves to do. Breakdown there between Besant and Wise. And Jones angry with his goalkeeper, really remonstrating with him, as if to say, well, you're taking an unnecessary risk there. Certainly kicks this time. gone all the way to his opposite number. Players crowded into an area around where the ball drops. Rush rescued it for Sunderland. Clark misjudging. Armstrong. Oh, chaos again. Byrne. The whistle has gone. Chaos caused by a foul by Gordon Armstrong.
A hopeful early ball into the box there that caused all sorts of problems in the Chelsea defence, and I think Sunderland were a little bit unfortunate to have that decision given against them. I don't know if it was offside or a foul or not. Early balls played in behind their defence are causing them all sorts of problems, Chelsea.
Well, it didn't look much of a foul, did it, on the replay? But it's done and dusted now. Armstrong. There's no doubt about it. The superstitious Sunderland fans won't want to have seen Tony Cascarino picked for Chelsea tonight. He's caused them enough pain in the past. Clark, there's a foul off the ball by Elliott on Davenport. Something of a catch-weight contest between the two of them. Recognised as a resolute defender who gets himself into rather too much trouble with referees. He's just back from his third suspension of the season. But he's up well there, as he was when he cleared from under his own crossbar a few minutes ago. Just over 5 minutes to go to half-time. Wise with the corner. And Elliott robbed again. They just can't cope with Cascarino at the near post, but they are coping from then on, but with the greatest amount of difficulty. Clark.
Same problem at the near post. They can't seem to stop Tony Cascarino getting a touch on it. It's in the lap of the gods once it's flicked on there, and they've got away with it twice. And they've got to get somebody into that hole in front of Cascarino, even if he's smaller, just to maybe affect the flight of the ball.
Maybe just to give him a nudge at the right time.
Correct.
Sinclair. So calmly done in the circumstances by Ball. Byrne perhaps a little too relaxed. Kay, the cult figure here, who's won the fans over with improved performances. And when you talk about cult figures, Cascarino first to it again. Surely Sunderland aren't going to continue to survive if they let Tony Cascarino flick the ball about. Well, John Kay taking issue with him. Rather than argue with him, they just to get on top of him in the football sense, and it really is a bit of a push and shove now, with Cascarino losing his temper as well. And that time he didn't quite make it his. He left Byrne upfield. Lenny, one of the old arguments that always comes up on these windy nights is how much of an advantage is it playing with the wind?
I think Sunderland in the second half have got to make sure that just because the wind is in their favour, they continue to play the good football that brought them the goal and the lead. Conversely, Chelsea might find it a little bit easier to play because the ball will hold up, and especially if they're looking to hit Cascarino in the air, they might find it more difficult for the Sunderland defenders to attack the ball, which they've done in general play reasonably well.
again, the pass went up and stayed up. As Hardiman tried to drive the ball into the teeth of the gale. Townsend. Cascarino with the ball at his feet this time, and it was a handball given against Hardiman, and it's been given outside the area. There are two questions here: was it handball, and where did it take place? And I think it didn't take place there. Inside.
It didn't take place where the free kick's from. That's a certainty. It's a dangerous situation for Sunderland, because if Wise whips it in there with his left foot, any touch and it's in the net.
No touch for Chelsea, but they will at a later date assess our replay then. And that decision by Terry Holbrook. I must say, when the ball hit Hardiman, my first instincts were that if it was a foul, it was a penalty. The question was it a foul? Here's a free kick to Chelsea.
They've just got to hold out until half-time, Sunday. Now they're under a lot of pressure from free kicks and corners. They've just got to keep their cool, keep concentrating, and get in that changing room with that one-goal lead.
Well, there's a minute plus stoppage time to go. Peter Davenport's lead threatened again. And Dennis Wise, who is a prince really amongst players at delivering the ball with accuracy week in, week out, lost his bearings with his teammates then. Chelsea maybe blown forward here one last time before half-time. Bracewell. 2 against 1, but the one had the ball in his sight, Steve Clark. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea went in front and didn't finish the night as winners. First half has gone with home advantage here at Roker Park. Atkinson, pressed by Townsend, who was caught painfully then and has gone down. More problems for Chelsea. Davenport. Bracewell had made a run through the centre. Hardiman was on the outside. And Steve Clark seemed pretty sure then that it should have been a goal kick, but it's the opposite verdict. And now Cascarino has to come back and help out. Had some 80 seconds of time added on at the end of the first half. Brian Atkinson placing the ball with great deliberation, and Besant plucked that out of the air very well indeed. Malcolm Crosby goes off to deliver his half-time team talk, knowing his side well are getting closer. Peter Davenport with the only goal of the first half, and one that reflected his skill in Sunderland's play when they can get the ball on the ground. Chelsea have looked most dangerous in reply to that, at their set pieces, with Tony Cascarino, a real menace at the near post at a succession of corners. But at half-time at Roker Park, it's looking good for the second division and for Sunderland. They lead Chelsea by 1-0.
Welcome back. 1-0 Sunderland at half-time. Don't forget that Carlsberg Man of the Match telephone number, 0898 500 125. 0898 500 125. Terrific atmosphere at Roker. Sunderland so close to the semis. Very blustery night. I'm sorry if the wind from time to time is a little irritating for you, blowing across the microphones of both Lenny Lawrence and Martin Tyler, but just imagine what it's like sitting out there in the elements. Cold, Martin, I suspect. Right, let's have a look at one or two incidents. Peter Osgood, Jim Montgomery. Disallowed goal early, Peter, from Gordon Armstrong.
Yes, I don't know why the referee disallowed it first, but then seeing it, the guy was definitely offside. The linesman put his flag up straight away. I think you see the ball knocked in. It gets a deflection actually, but the lad is in there straight away. You see he's a couple of yards offside, and the linesman did flag on the
It's
side.
like, immediately.
Yes,
flag
he did.
went up straight away.
Because we're looking straight across from it from here, and he definitely put his flag up straight away. It was offside, Jim.
Yeah,
That's all you're going to get from him,
unfortunately it was.
Thank God it was, that's right. Thank God it was.
Good goal from Sunderland's point of view.
Superb goal, yeah. Young Rush did extremely well, winning the ball on the halfway line and nutmegging the man. Cundy.
Far too much space for a player of John Burns' ability.
Yeah, I mean, he's at his best when he's running defenders. He takes them one way, comes inside, drills it along the ground. Difficult for the goalkeeper. Does extremely well, and there's Davenport to finish it off. And to be fair, they deserved it.
Bad defending here, though, really, from Elliott. You know, he's neither gone one way or the other. He's given two chances. A fair Barnsley. He's a good Bernie. He's got through, knocked it wide, had a great shot.
Great strike.
He's a good lad. This good player. This fella runs at players, wants to play, Jim, doesn't he?
But like you say, he's committed himself, hasn't he?
That's right, committed himself. And then good save from Dave.
Good save from
Unfortunately,
Dave.
it goes away. Good finish.
Great finish, yeah. Great finish. I think they deserved it. I mean, on the balance of play of the first half.
I thought when it started off that it was going to be 2 or 3-0 because Sunderland deserved to be 2 or 3-0 up because they played superb football. But then again, that Chelsea came back with this pressure, didn't they, from the corners and
from the corner
free
kick.
kicks.
This is where we only see any danger, isn't it? From the corner kicks. And other than that, Sunderland have played football, they've knocked the ball about. And as Dennis says, if they go and do that in the second half, you know, keep our fingers crossed.
What about the handball towards the end of the half there? First of all, was it? And secondly, if it was it in or out?
If it's handball, I would suggest it's inside the box, definitely.
Yes,
if it is an handball.
On the replay, it looked as though it was in the box, and it does look as though Paul Hardiman stuck his arm out
It's
too.
dropped down. Whether again, we see whether it's hit him on top of the shoulder here, or whether it's actually hit him on the arm.
But he did look as though it was in the box, yeah.
We'll have a look at it in a moment or so. But Martin's first reaction, he said, was that if it was handball, it was in the box. And commentators will tell you they more often than not go with their first reaction. We can tidy it up here.
Yeah, it's got a Cascarino here, and he takes it on, and then he tries to flick it inside Hardiman this side. And there he is, he puts his arm up, yeah. He's very close.
I wouldn't have liked to call it, would you?
Very close, yeah.
Great decision.
I don't think I'd have given it.
Great decision.
You wouldn't have given it?
No, I don't think so.
As a penalty?
No, definitely not.
Not now, not after seeing it again, no. So that's how difficult it is for the referee and linesman, isn't it?
Yeah, we say that time and again, don't we? That referees have got, of course, make their minds up like that.
But it was a great decision in the end.
Now, can you hold out for 45?
I think so. If we continue playing football, knocking the ball about and knocking the ball over the top of the Chelsea back four, I think we're causing problems.
And Chelsea, Peter?
Well, they haven't played very good football. Obviously, they've relied on the big guys, and I think the wind will help them this time because obviously it'll hold the ball up for them, the forwards. They've knocked it over the top, and they haven't really got the pace apart from Kerry to get to it. It's gone straight through to the keeper. So I think they've got more of a chance. So I think the defence have got to be on their toes, but so have Chelsea because these lads are lively up front. They really are.
OK, Sunderland 45 minutes away from a semi-final place against either Norwich or Southampton. That replay taking place tonight. I can tell you that Southampton are a goal up. Neil Ruddock, his first of the season. How priceless that might prove to be. Norwich City 0, Southampton 1. In the UEFA Cup, Liverpool 1, Genoa 1. Liverpool have got to score 3 times now. And in Scotland, in the Premier Division, Aberdeen 1, Hearts 0. If it stays like that, well, the chase for the Premier Division title, I would think, is over, isn't it? 1-0 here to Sunderland. We'll be back with the whole of the second half live here on Sky Sports after these. Welcome back to Sunderland. Score from the First Division, incidentally. Half-time, Forest 1, Manchester United 0. Nigel Clough, the scorer. Lovely to see those Italian-type flags springing up all over the country, isn't it? You try telling Sunderland that they are not on the way to the semi-finals. They'll have something to say about it in the second half, I'm sure. Just the one goal at the moment. We really do have a smashing tie on our hands. Let's go and rejoin our commentary team, Lenny Lawrence and Martin Tyler.
Thanks, Richard. Hello again, everyone. We've had news from the dressing room that Sunderland have had to make a change at half-time. Paul Hardiman has damaged a hamstring, and Richard Ord, the England under-21 international, is scheduled to come out for the second half. Chelsea very quickly out, anxious to get on with the job. Richard Ord just going through the shot there. Now, it may well be that he will play in the centre of defence, with Anton Rogan moving to left back. One thing I must tell you about Richard Ord, he's been out with injury, and he played a full game last night in the Sunderland reserve team at Everton. But he's young, and he's fit. And Lenny Lawrence, what do you make of the change?
Well, Anton Rogan has done well, actually, at centre-back, but his best position, in my opinion, is left-back. And Ord, who's come on, his height may be a help to Sunderland when they're defending at the corners and free kicks, which have caused them so many problems.
1-0 to Sunderland. And Richard Ord, his first job. Ian Porterfield has the option, which I'm sure he will exercise if it stays this way, of bringing Clive Allen on. Cascarino, Lassau's waiting on the edge of the area. Sunderland collectively moving out towards him. More neat play from Davenport. Well, he's put his head on the block in terms of his team selection. His words, not mine. Wise. But that's what managers do every time they pick a team, Lenny.
You pay your money and you take your chance. He'll get all the credit or all the blame if they win or lose, as is the way of the world. So we'll have to wait and see. I think
Sorry, Karen.
The first 15 minutes of this half, I'll be amazed if Chelsea really don't give it a big shot, because they need to get back in the game quickly. And I think you'll find them trying to get forward at every opportunity.
Townsend going in, but not reaching the ball. Jones looped it long. Kay watching the run of Graham Lassau. Armstrong, not given. Chelsea given the advantage. We also heard that Andy Townsend has been complaining at half-time of a calf strain. That's the last thing Chelsea need in their predicament, to have the captain less than 100%.
What they do need is him to start making some runs from midfield if they can, and the wind holding the ball up might give him more chance of getting in this half.
Rush. Here's Davenport, wanting a player outside him. It's John Kay. He's had a look at him and then looked away. Townsend was moving well enough then. Bracewell offside. Lenny, earlier in the evening you said you were championing the northeast. A good Londoner like yourself. That's what a move up here does.
Yeah, it's a terrific area for football, you know, and I've been struck by the sort of passion and the intensity of things since I've been here, you know, and it'll be good for the area if they could get in a semi-final Sunderland after our appearance in the Rumbelows.
Okay. Again, Some clever work from Davenport. Came to naught then. I'm sure there'll be Sunderland fans watching around the country who wish that Peter Davenport could put on a performance like this every week. Cascarino. Armstrong finding the feet of Byrne. That will always suit Sunderland. Rush. All action. Davenport and just came behind David Rush. But that's the strength of Sunderland with their passing ability on a good pitch.
Chelsea have pushed the wide players on noticeably in this half, especially from Bessin's kicks. And they're trying to get the ball forward much more quickly, and they've pinned Sunderland back. Sunderland have just got to keep their shape and their discipline and just play their football coming out on the break, and they'll be all right.
And you wouldn't expect Byrne and Davenport to catch too much point over the top. The wind will be a factor there, but also Elliott and Cundy are man for man, one would think, quicker. But if they get the ball into their feet, it's a different story. Okay. It's a raw night at Roker, but it could be a great one for Sunderland. They lead Chelsea by a goal to nil. Peter Davenport provided it, the same Peter Davenport who's flagged offside here.
Interesting, the Chelsea line was a little bit too far up at the back, in my opinion, in the first half, and there they've dropped off too deep and the ball's bounced in front of them, and they're giving themselves all sorts of problems. Mustn't let the ball bounce.
Besson very lucky. That half-volley technique is one that some coaches frown upon. It is always a little more risky than kicking straight from the hands, or from the ball on the ground, as Besson did then. Okay, Chelsea are going to need a colossal amount of character here. They have had an inconsistent season. Long-time supporters of the club will say that's often been a trait. They have had a better away record in the First Division than at home. And here's Lasso, trying to conjure up something to keep them in the cup. And Lasso turns away in disgust that a free kick wasn't given as he checked back onto his left foot then. He felt he was impeded. This is a referee, incidentally, who sent him off last season, Terry Holbrook. Maybe that's why he kept his thoughts to himself after that.
It looked a foul, didn't it? Looked a foul.
Sinclair. Chelsea taking on not just Malcolm Crosby's capable team, but this Roker Park atmosphere, which remains special in football, even though the ground is at a reduced capacity. Byrne.
Another good early cross from John Kay there. That is a feature of their play, Sunderland. They do get some good quality crosses into the box, and although John Byrne's obviously got a height disadvantage, you know, they had some trouble getting the ball away there, although I think Byrne actually pushed Paul Elliott in the end.
Rogan, who was signed by Dennis Smith to play at left back, he's rarely had the job. Cascarino. Clark. It's a fine ball for Dixon. How did he keep it out? Tony Norman with a glorious save for Sunderland.
Yeah, it was a great cross in there, and the right back's got the wrong side of Dixon there. A great opportunity for him and a good reflex save.
Corner to Chelsea. Elliott! And the problem on Norman was not so much stopping the ball, but being aware of Jones coming in. Put out by Sinclair. Well, when Dixon turned then and was able to set himself to fire at goal from close range, I really expected it to be 1-1. Norman had other ideas. Here's Brown just letting the ball wriggle away from him. Laid off by Dixon, Wise. Cascarino, who really has been putting himself about to try and justify the preference shown in him over Allen. Cascarino again. Dixon. Wasn't quite how you'd expect the pair to operate, but it nearly came off for Chelsea.
That's a good move. They're really firing now, Chelsea. Now Sunderland have got to get tuck 8 players in and make sure everybody picks a man up and keep their shape and their discipline. The game could all revolve around the next 10 minutes.
Dixon. Out by Kay. Dixon flicking it on for Cascarino. But when Sunderland whack it forward, it's coming straight back.
Can't get out of their half at the moment.
Townsend. Atkinson got the measure of Lasso. Bracewell. Davenport and Cundy committing himself. Cup final. That was getting on for a couple of years ago, but he's a tough character, and I wouldn't think that would worry him too much. He'd step up again if required. He's jumping up well there. Sinclair. Chelsea beginning to look more like a First Division team now. They've got a lot of players in the centre. Oh, and another astonishing save from Dennis Wise's header from really a matter of inches. Norman got to it and got it up over the bar.
Great build-up from Chelsea and a great early crossing from the left-hand side. Terrific reflexes there from Tony Norman. I don't know how he kept that out. It must have been 3 yards out when Dennis Wise did it.
Sunderland at the moment can't stop the supply, but they are stopping the scoring. Elliott. Townsend off the line. Paul Bracewell by the post. It's not Chelsea's night, not yet.
They're weathering the storm as best they can, Sunderland, but they're under severe pressure, and somehow they've got to get the pressure off and get the ball in Chelsea's half for some of the time. Every time it goes up there, it comes straight back at the moment.
Well, that's why they put players on the post. And Bracewell was able to get into the line of Andy Townsend. Cracking shot, he hit it very crisply. And this time Norman was beaten, but Sunderland had it covered thanks to the captain. Well, we've had 15 minutes of the second half. At this point in the first half, Sunderland took the lead. Ball! Well, one would not be churlish enough to criticise a misplaced header on a windy night like this. The ball came in very strongly, but it went back across the goal, and I'm sure he felt he might have had a chance of going for goal.
He attacked it very well there, unmarked.
Bracewell. Sunderland throw. Here's Byrne. It was Armstrong who was trying to drive it across quickly. Sunderland get the throw. Davenport! And Besant covering his near post, and still there as it came back again. Very tight angle for Davenport to try and find.
It's ironic that they've had so many problems themselves from set plays. Suddenly they very nearly score from one there. Great turn from Davenport.
Well, Davenport allowed to lay it off onside, and Atkinson, Davenport's following it. Byrne. Here's Rogan. Dixon bringing it out. I just wondered at the start of that attack that Peter Davenport nearly rounded off whether he actually orchestrated it initially from an offside position. The linesman had a good look, but Paul Elliott made a brilliant block. Elliott again. Townsend. Here's Atkinson. He's got free. Davenport. Sunderland have suddenly got a spring in their step again.
Sunderland have bounced back very well there. On that last attack, they get the ball into Byrne's feet, and once they get it into feet and set things up and get runners coming from midfield, they look a good side. And that last chance came directly from a move like that. There's Byrne again. Great recovery tackle from Paul Elliott there.
19 minutes gone in the second half. Sunderland 1, Chelsea 0. And Rush holds up Frank Sinclair and then is held up himself in return. Townsend. Chelsea are going to make their first change. Just checking to look across, it is Graham Stewart who's being summoned by Ian Porterfield once Terry Holbrook has calmed down this episode, which is in keeping with the pace and the passion of the cup tie and the spirit of it as well, ending in a handshake between Atkinson and Townsend. Lasso is being taken off. He hasn't realised that yet. Now he knows he's got to go. Desperately disappointed at being left out a week ago last Monday. Thought perhaps it was going to be better for him tonight, but he goes off with Chelsea a goal down. Graham Stewart, whose goal took Chelsea into the quarter-final, beating Sheffield United. "25 minutes left, unless we go to extra time." This is Kevin Ball with Dixon for company. The outcome is a corner. The short corner between Atkinson and Byrne. Here's Byrne, it's awkward for Besant, and it was Richard Ord with those long legs of his who very nearly reached what was a cross shot from John Byrne.
Another well-worked corner there from Sunderland. Finished up with a Chelsea were half in half about pushing out, and the boy nearly got on the end of it.
Frank Sinclair wasn't far away either, and if he'd have touched it, it might have been an own goal. Cascarino with ball at his back. Sunderland getting closer and closer. Offside as Rush and Davenport exchanged passes rapidly.
When that ball goes into feet to the Sunderland front players and they link up from there and get the midfield players running, and they look a good side, and they're going to cause Chelsea problems if they can do that often enough.
Bracewell hit Jones. Not a good clearance from Rogan that time, but the linesman had been flagging. We've been talking about Sunderland slipping down the second division table, but their home record is good. They've lost only 2 here in the league, and none since Malcolm Crosby picked up the reins at the turn of the year. Well, Liverpool are out of the UEFA Cup. They found Genoa too high an obstacle. Beaten away and at Anfield. But the outcome of this frantic FA Cup quarter-final replay still in doubt. And John Byrne so committed there that even though the whistle had gone, the ball had gone, he went hurtling forward. Sunderland have got to win the headers. Very, very difficult for them. It's been a strong suit for Chelsea. And even Dennis Wise with a close-range header almost found the key to the lock. And Tony Norman may well be spoken about in the same breath as Jimmy Montgomery after tonight, if it goes on like this. Whether he'll go so grey remains to be seen. Bracewell, 3 times a Wembley loser in the FA Cup with Everton. It's Rogan, and Terry Holbrook's verdict is a corner. Doesn't please Chelsea, who protest their innocence at getting the final touch. Well, they've looked for the short one, and they do it again. And Byrne has another trick up his sleeve. It's Cascarino who defended it well. This is Armstrong. He's got past Besant. They're queuing up in the centre. And Jones came back, and it ran off him. He certainly didn't control the ball. Well, there have been might-have-beens at both ends. That ball came off Sinclair, misjudged by Elliott. Offside, offside. John Byrne thought that he'd extended this extraordinary sequence of cup goals, but the flag again went up promptly.
There's 2 or 3 times that John Byrne's gone out for short corners, and they've finished up setting up and getting a cross in, and they were very fortunate there, Chelsea. That ball didn't finish up in the back of the net. Clearly offside though, that goal, no doubt about it. They pushed out, he was 2 or 3 yards offside. Sunderland have got themselves back in the game now. They forced Chelsea back. They seem to have weathered that spell of pressure from Chelsea. And now with about 15 minutes to go, they've got to try and get the ball in and keep it in Chelsea's half and play their football as much as they can.
Well, I'm sure around the country supporters will take issue with me, but where else do you find fans so committed to the cause? The red and white is shining bright at Roker Park. Wise, Dixon, Stewart is in there as well. That's Jones and Wise in the way. Atkinson was strong. And Brian Atkinson clearly infringing the laws of the game in his anxiety to get Sunderland out of trouble. Well, here's the scene set here for Clive Allen. Chelsea hope so. They declined to use him from the start. He comes on with a frown, but certainly with a sense of purpose. That's Dixon. It's a corner. Shades of the first game.
Interesting that the centre-half's gone off, so I wonder if Chelsea are going to play with just three at the back for the last 15 minutes.
Well, it's time for desperate measures. That's order. Well, Dixon! Oh, hasn't crossed the line. Terry Holbrook shakes the head, and it came off Jones as Stewart drilled it back in. And Norman clutched the ball. Extraordinary scenes in Sunderland territory, and no wonder he wants to draw breath. Dixon flicked it. Norman couldn't get there, and for the second time, Paul Bracewell was perfectly positioned right on the edge of the Roker Park pitch. The edge that's surrounded by two white posts with a bar over the top of them.
They've lived dangerously in their penalty area, Sunderland, but he has made some inspirational reflex saves, Tony Norman, and if they do get through, they'll owe a big debt to him.
Burn. And if they get a second goal, you would say they would get through. They still seem to need that insurance. 16 minutes left. Again, Byrne waits by the near post. Rogan has come to lend his aggression from the edge of the area. It's not a good corner from Sunderland. And Stewart has got Townsend through the centre. Stewart prepared to commit defenders, and a foul seemed inevitable. And every time Sunderland give away a free kick, you do fear for them in these positions. Oh, it's off the bar from Cascarino.
Unbelievable.
First to it again with Chelsea, Cascarino this time. Sunderland really strained defensively. Rogan. They felt all along that their attacking play masked some defensive shortcomings. Here's Davenport, rushes up with him. Davenport, till Elliott recognised that he had to get a tackle in quickly. Somebody had to for Chelsea. But Tony Cascarino nearly came out to haunt Sunderland again and stop them getting to the semi-final. Byrne is onside. It was a valiant attempt to try and disconcert Elliott. Rush. Kay. It is a captivating cup tie, and as it was down at Stamford Bridge when we felt that it was the pick of the 4 games at that stage. Stan Ternent, like Ian Porterfield, a former Sunderland player, a lot of head shaking on the Chelsea bench, but a bit of head shaking here by Cascarino just to see it still in place. We can tell you that at the City Ground, Nigel Clough's goal enough to beat Manchester United. That's good news for Leeds. Chelsea looking for some good news of their own here. Offside. And in Scotland, a sad defeat for Hearts, but a great night for Willie Miller and Aberdeen. Stewart. Well, in the second half alone, we've had 2 clearances off the line from Bracewell. Cascarino hitting the bar. Brilliant work from Norman at the expense of Dixon and Wise. Chelsea have done everything but score. Well, it is an old cliche, but it certainly applies to the way the second half has gone. And in between, Sunderland at times swept the ball forward with the style that's, as I say, the strength in the side, really.
Chelsea have gone with just 3 at the back and pushed 5 forwards up now virtually, and left the 2 in midfield, and Sunderland have got to be mindful about whether or not they're going to just continue playing that in the same way and leaving 3 up the front, or whether they're going to just settle for what they've got and make sure that they don't get outnumbered at the back. That's what I would do. Got Wise and Stewart on the wide positions, and Cascarino and Dixon and Allen all pushing virtually in a line of 5, Chelsea.
But you wonder where the away team, who have grown in stature here, equalise with single figures in terms of minutes left on the clock.
Yeah. Chelsea will get 1 or 2 more chances yet, I would think.
Byrne. Rush. Byrne holding on the right. Atkinson inside him is offside. Funny enough, all through their cup run, Chelsea have found goals relatively difficult to get. The 2 at Hull in the 3rd round, then 1 against Everton, Clive Allen, of course, 1 against Sheffield United, Graham Stewart, the 1 against Sunderland, Allen again, and the 1-1 draw. And none here tonight. They'll be bewildered as to how it hasn't happened. What a fine game Davenport has had. It's nothing like playing for your place.
No, obviously with the Goodman being cup ties, a lot of competition. They've done very well, the front 2, when they've got the service they need to feet.
Clark, one of the 3 left at the back with the departure of Cundy.
They're just leaving 2 at the front, Sunderland now, in general play, against the Chelsea 3, which I think is a sensible thing to do.
They'll be reinforced now, though, at the corner. 10 minutes to go.
Not by too many players, I would hope. They should be thinking, with just a few minutes to go, about keeping most of the defenders back in case they don't get caught on the break, and working one of those short corner routines and make sure they keep the ball and don't get caught with a quick Chelsea counter-attack.
They were forced into a rethink by Chelsea, keeping 3 upfield. Unusual sight these days, but circumstances dictate. A less than congested penalty area, which Besant appreciated. That's good work by Rush. This is Ball, who's on his way back. Scooped up by Besant. And plenty of options for him to throw the ball to, although Stewart couldn't control it. Davenport. On comes Atkinson. Jones, that's a fine ball. Clive Allen pulling away on this near side. Dixon trying to set himself for the cross, not given the luxury of the time. Great work from Bracewell. Just to get the ball away and to find Davenport was icing on the cake. There'll be no offside here. Stewart. Brought down, right on the edge again. Stewart trying to suggest that it was inside the penalty area. Well, the first contact was certainly outside. Sunderland have just left Byrne upfield. Wise takes. Retrieved here by Jones. In towards the goalkeeper. He was hoping to keep it a bit lower and get the player running in towards the near post to get the first touch. And Terry Helbrook waving to Tony Norman to get on with the game. Wise. Sunderland edging closer and closer, but it's been so precarious in the second half that really you don't want to start paying the tribute yet, because it might not be pertinent. But they've done splendidly to get this far. And you'd sooner be in their position than Chelsea's.
Absolutely.
Armstrong. So, got raised then, but Sunderland still have the ball. Townsend can't come to terms with it. Sunderland have three in the centre then, and Brian Atkinson didn't really make the most of that at all. In fact, that he's quick to acknowledge. Cascarino. Chelsea haven't been in a semi-final since 1970. And there's the wait going to go on. Sunderland haven't been there since 73. And we all know about that. And there'll be more talk about it if this team get through to face either Southampton or Norwich City, who are locked in battle at Carrow Road in the semi-final. Ord's header. Jones made that his. Townsend! Well, the accuracy and the power, both commendable. And the save very cool.
Terrific save, he got himself behind the line early, dealt with it no problem.
Byrne, one-on-one with Elliott. Looked round for a bit of help. It was conspicuous then by its absence, but it's here now with Davenport. He's made it for himself. Oh, fantastic stop by Besant. That would have been that for Chelsea. The goalkeeper, who was captain of Wimbledon, had his hands on the FA Cup at the top of the Wembley steps. Had his hands on the ball then, when he really had little right to get to it.
That was a great save, that great turn inside from Davenport, and a terrific save. That's as good as any save we've seen tonight. It's kept Chelsea alive for these last couple of minutes. Perhaps they'll get one more chance.
We're into the final five, unless, of course, Chelsea score. On Wise! He has scored! Relief. Agony. And Sunderland couldn't see it out. And one was suspecting that that might happen, although Chelsea were running out of chances. And you think back to that Besant save just a few seconds earlier, and it's significant. Dennis Wise poaches a goal here in the nick of time for Chelsea.
That's very hard on Tony Norman. That was had a magnificent game in Sunderland's goal, but to be fair, Chelsea had a lot of opportunities which they've missed, or Tony Norman saved them. The whole thing revolved around that Besant save 2 minutes ago. Otherwise Chelsea would be dead and buried.
Here's Townsend.
Cruel luck for Sunderland after battling away and playing so well over the previous 85 minutes.
Ian Porterfield said to me earlier today, before I announce my team, I'm just going to have a word with Dennis Wise to see whether he's right in his mind to come back tonight. He's been left out, he's gone off the boil, to use the manager's words. Well, he's bubbling now. It's 1-1. This is Armstrong, Bracewell, Elliott against Byrne, and really there was only going to be one winner then. Rogan's header. Sunderland have got David Rush free here if he can get the ball down. And as the ball came down, unfortunately for a second he followed it. It's been snatched, Malcolm Crosby might feel, from his grasp. Atkinson with the corner. Oh! A fantastic header! Gordon Armstrong! It's back in his grasp. Chelsea are dumbstruck. 2 minutes to go! Oh, he says, and so do we all. Poor Besant. Once Armstrong launched himself at it and made that connection, there was only one outcome. He is great in the air. A great header at a great time.
Unbelievable. Typical cup tie. I can't believe they've come back Sunderland and scored the winning goal, or what appears to be the winning goal, right at the death. Great leap and a great corner.
There's a roller coaster of emotions here, and Sunderland are flying high. There's a player whose head hadn't gone down at Dennis Wise's equaliser. His head was high, very high. A phenomenal finish, if it is to be a finish. No one's counting any chickens here. Dixon. Chelsea come again. 3 forward. Frank Sinclair is one of them. Corner. The 90 minutes are up. That was Cascarino, one of the biggest cheers of the night. But the ball passed behind the goal. But how cruel the cup can be. Chelsea, who provided a storming second half here, and finally, when it seemed that time was running away from them, got back at 1-1, only to be caught out within moments by Gordon Armstrong. Armstrong, this oddity in the northeast, a lad from Newcastle who was brought up to support Sunderland. His father a Sunderland fan. It's Rush. And Besant whose save was superb, but perhaps not as significant as it seemed. Towering leap by Kay, back by Clark. Cascarino can get a shot in here, can he? Not quite. It's mayhem on the edge of the Sunderland penalty area, but only for a moment. Byrne has pulled out thoughtfully. He can hold the ball, use up a few more seconds, and Armstrong makes sure that the ball gets as far away from Tony Norman's goal as possible. Atkinson, headed on by Armstrong. Here's Cascarino, Allen inside him. We've had 2 minutes of stoppage time, it's Wise. It's over, it is over. And Chelsea go out. Sunderland are into the semi-finals for the first time since 1973. Peter Davenport's goal gave them a lead that they found great difficulty in holding and couldn't hold when Dennis Wise, with Chelsea's exit seeming inevitable, equalising, but Gordon Armstrong providing a finish which will live long in the memories at this club that has so many great cup ties in its past. Gordon Armstrong acknowledged here as the match winner. A wonderful night for the Wearsiders. The Rokerites rising to Malcolm Crosby's team. A splendid success for Sunderland, who followed that win at West Ham by catapulting another First Division club from the capital out of the FA Cup. The red and white stripes have been worn with pride here tonight, and Sunderland stride on. The two goal scorers are with Nick Collins.
First of all, Gordon, what an amazing end to what had been a marvellous cup tie.
Tonight under difficult conditions. I'm just pleased we come out on top. It could have gone either way, really.
When Chelsea came back at 1-1 with just 4 minutes to go, did you think, oh, here we go, extra time?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there was only a couple of minutes left, so you think it's going to go extra time. And then, luckily enough, we got the goal, must have been a couple of minutes to go.
Well, it was a marvellous header. I mean, it really was perfectly placed, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a good ball in from Aki. It's something that I've been shouting at Malcolm to do all week, and he's eventually, just in the last minute, Aki's done it. And it's a great ball. And
here we go. I think if you get a chance to have a quick look at it here, it comes from the corner.
Yeah, good ball in from Brian. And just got to go above Andy Townsend, and there's nobody on the line, which I was surprised at, and it flew right in the corner.
Right in the corner.
Cheers, mate.
A training ploy that worked. Let's bring Peter Davenport in as well. Peter, you scored the first goal to set Sunderland on their way. You must have been pleased with that.
Oh yeah, I thought that was it. With 5 minutes to go, 1-0 up. You think we're going all the way. We drove our luck. They hit the bar. Tony Norman made a few fantastic saves, and we thought that was it. And then right to the death for them to score.
Well, let's show you your moment. Here it comes, midway through the first half.
John Byrne did tremendously well. I pulled away to the back stick here, and he's shaped up as if he's going to cross it. He's took the defender on, beat the defender. Keeper's made a good parry, and just ran nicely for me. Wrong side of the forward, the defender, get in the back of the net.
Right position at the right side. There were so many incidents, though, in this game, weren't there? 2 goals disallowed, then...
Incredible. End-to-end stuff, wasn't it? I mean, it must have been a hell of a cup tie to watch.
Paul Bracewell getting the ball off the line, what, twice, wasn't it?
Yeah, at least twice. It seems to be a bit more than that from what I remember. Tremendous.
Listen, lads, you go and celebrate. Well done. Thank you very much indeed.
Well, Lenny Lawrence, you've been championing the cause of the North East. You must be as delighted as the Sunderland fans who are out there today.
Well, it was a fantastic climax to a terrific cup tie, really. As Peter Davenport says, Sunderland did ride their luck once or twice, and Tony Norman made some fantastic saves, but what a brilliant last 5 minutes. And obviously, looking at the scenes out here, football is alive and well in the North East, and the people who've criticised the standard of playing the second division this year and saying what a rubbish league it is, we've reached the Rumbelow semi-final and just gone out to Manchester United, and now Sunderland have reached the FA Cup semi-final and joined Portsmouth in there, so it can't be too bad a league after all.
Well, these supporters are very proud of their club, of their traditions of the past, but they're very, very proud of the present as well, because Sunderland of the second division. We have a second division club in both FA Cup semi-finals now. Sunderland have beaten Chelsea by 2-1.
What a night. Had a feeling it might be right at the start. Fabulous evening. If you're a Sunderland fan, apologies if you're a Chelsea supporter. But what a night here on Wearside. Sunderland are back in the semi-finals of the FA Cup. We'll speak to Jim Montgomery and Peter Osgood after these. Welcome back. Sunderland into the semi-finals 2-1. That Carlsberg man of the match telephone number 0898 500 125. 0898 500 125. Norwich Southampton, incidentally, the other quarter-final replay tonight. 1-1. They're in extra time. Southampton with Matt Letizia and Barry Horne sent off now. Let's go and have words with Malcolm Crosby, the winning manager. He's with Nick Collins.
Well, Malcolm, have you got your breath back yet?
Yes, just, yeah.
It was a wonderful, wonderful cup tie, though, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, you know, it was a superb game, and anybody watching, you know, must have been envious that they weren't actually at the game themselves.
It's difficult to know where to start because there were so many incidents, but obviously going ahead midway through the first half with Peter Davenport's goal must have been a big help.
Yeah, I always said, you know, the team that scored first, you know, may win the game, because I knew it was always going to be tight. But, you know, generally our first half performance against a strong wind was very good. And of course we've gone in at half-time, and I was really pleased with the performance.
What sort of things did you say at half-time?
Well, you know, I mean, we'd done quite well against the wind, and you know, Vinnie Jones's throw-ins were causing us problems, and we'd handled them quite well. And we said second half, you know, we've got to try and keep playing the football. But you know, you're 45 minutes away from a semi-final, and really that's all the incentive you need to give players.
That second half, though, will go down as one of the great 45 minutes of the season, as you think.
Well, it was non-stop. I mean, credit to Chelsea, they really came at us, you know, and Besant caused a lot of problems with long balls into the box. We counter-attacked very well, and, you know, both teams had a lot of chances.
An obvious question, but what does it mean to be in the semi-finals for Sunderland?
Well, it's obviously brilliant for the club in general, but, you know, being from the northeast, I'm so pleased for people in the northeast. You know, we've got a team there, and okay, some of them don't support us, but we're representing the northeast, and we hope we go to Hillsborough and get to Wembley for them.
The scent of Wembley in your nostrils?
Well, you know, we won't count our chickens, but you know, maybe it could be our lucky year. We don't know.
Malcolm, well done. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Wonderful, one of the nice guys. So often they miss out. Maybe not this time round. I wish you could have seen him here during the match. Jim Montgomery, Peter Osgood. What a cracker, wasn't it?
Fabulous game, yeah.
Really was.
Yeah, super cup tie, I got to admit. I thought Chelsea, in all fairness, on the second half play deserved to go into extra time. In all fairness, they could have been 2-1 up before Dennis Wise scored, Richard. But a tremendous, tremendous game end to end. I mean, you wouldn't want me to be a manager too many times, would you? Yeah.
1-0 Sunderland led. Peter Davenport got the opener. Let's have a look at it. Good goal, created really by John Byrne.
Yes, this was the style of play, running at people running and making great moves, and there's support already coming up, and he finishes it off great for him.
Of course, he didn't score tonight, Peter, so your record of having scored all the way?
No, he scored in the first round, didn't he? It still counts in the round. It still counts in the first game.
Yeah, that's fair comment.
So he's still got a chance of that.
Yeah, that's fair comment. You said to me during half-time, we were talking about the goalkeeper during the commercial break, you said he's a great shot stopper.
Yeah.
Wasn't he just?
Tremendous, you know, those two saves he produced there, I mean, they are match-saving saves. Two superb saves. And Besant, you know, we thought he'd done exactly the same for Chelsea prior to their goal. But, I mean, the lads played tremendously well, you know, Tony Norman. All credit to him.
I mean, you are the man who produced the definitive save at Wembley, aren't you? So you know plenty about it. This fella here really didn't have...
covered, you know, his positional play there, right, you know, superb save.
He's gone the wrong way, knocked it down with his left hand,
he's gone this way, and he's knocked it down with the left hand. But he's balanced and he's stayed big. This was the important thing. He hasn't gone down too soon. And then, again, a tremendous save.
Twice Peter Osgood was screaming goal here.
Yeah.
A whole lot more besides.
Well, here it is again. It's a super cross from the Graham Lasser, I think, Costa. Yeah, he whips it straight in, and who's on the end of it? Little Dennis Wise. Look, such a great cross. Little Dennis is there. Don't even have to jump hard. Look, I mean, that's more of a Well, it's not a reflex save, it just hit him, isn't it? Let's be fair. Good positional play, as Jim said.
Yeah. It was,
I mean, tremendous.
Coming at us thick and fast, wasn't it? Tony Cascarino thumped the bar.
Oh, God, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, Peter's nearly struggled a couple of times here, you know. It's a superb header.
Right, yeah.
I mean, Tony's got no chance, and it's come off the crossbar. We said then, you know, they just can't get a goal tonight. You know, it's...
Well, if Norman distinguished himself at one end, so too did Dave Besant at the other. Made a save that, in fact,
produced the goal after that, really.
In the end, it doesn't matter. But, yeah, the goal came from that, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, actually, yeah.
Yeah, it's a tremendous save. This is... I mean, Davenport, in all fairness, we thought should have laid it back. There was a leg coming through. But look at this. Besant's going across to... Yeah, he's made a tremendous angle on the near post. Super save,
and
really marvellous.
Chelsea have broken away, and Dennis Wise has tucked in the equaliser. Which you have to say, Peter, I mean, was deserved, wasn't it?
I was, on the chances. I mean, here you see that it's a long punt in. But Vinnie Jones does very well. Vinnie comes up and supports. That's a lovely little touch ball in here for him, to be honest. Dennis, look, one touch, and then I thought he took it too far, and just over the keeper, look, smashing. Great little touch for Dennis, and a great goal. I thought that was it then. I thought it was on our way to extra time.
You're right,
great
it was a lovely touch from
yeah,
Vinnie, wasn't
superb.
it?
But see, that was one of the few times that Chelsea did have supporting people. You know, Andy Townsend was very disappointed getting forward enough. I mean, he had a couple of good shots at the end then, but should have got people forward a little bit more, I thought.
That was about 86 minutes. You nearly went home, Jim.
Yeah.
You're glad you didn't?
I'm glad I didn't. No, I was just the lads. I mean, the main point about Sunderland, they supported each other. You know, every time somebody went down, there was somebody there to support them. And I mean, Davenport could have had a couple of goals laid on just by sheer support. You know, and I mean, the goal from Armstrong. I mean, it's.
You think back to two clearances off the line by Bracewell.
Superb,
Chelsea didn't defend their posts from this corner, either of them.
No, this was unfortunate to get a corner so quick after the goal, to be honest, because they hadn't... Clark was obviously marking, you see, instead of Cundy had gone off. So they had nobody on the post. There's Clark in the middle there, marking, you see, and there's nobody on the post at all. And, I mean, it'd have been easy, because Brace, same position as Bracewell would have been, and the fellow was just knocked off the line, yeah. It's a shame it come too quick, they didn't recuperate themselves, really. Shame.
That was the winning goal. Newcastle-born Sunderland supporter Gordon Armstrong. There's another Sunderland fan outside, very happy. He's with Nick Collins.
Steve Cram with me here in the tunnel. Steve, enough incident in that game to excite you?
I thought it was boring, didn't you? A great game. I mean, for all the people watching, obviously, for neutrals anyway, fantastic game. It was a little bit nail-biting for us in the second half. Tony Norman made a couple of great saves. Bracewell kicked them off the line, hit the bar as well, and then to lose the equaliser in the last few minutes to what was a fairly scrappy goal. Maybe thought we'd blown it, but you know, extra time was looming. The lads were beginning to look a bit tired, and then up pops Gordon with a cracking header. And we don't score many from corners, you know. There's one of the blokes who I watched the game with reckons we haven't scored for 3 years from a corner. I don't know if he's right, but he can't be far wrong.
As a Sunderland supporter, though, how much help are the crowd on nights like these?
Well, sometimes I think it's a little bit of a hindrance because sometimes they can put a lot of pressure on the lads. I think I said at the start of the programme, but tonight the crowd were brilliant, got behind them. We were great in the first half, I thought, played very well, and Chelsea took a while to settle, and we maybe could have got 2 or 3. But a great cup tie, and I think we're just all very, very pleased to be going to Hillsborough.
Do you think you can go further and go on to Wembley?
Well, all the way through the second half, when all those chances Chelsea were either missing or we were saving, all we kept saying to each other was our name must be on the cup, you know. So I know it's a good football cliche, but let's hope it is.
Do you think there is such a thing, though, as someone's name being on the cup? Could it be like 73 all over again?
Well, you have to carry a little bit of luck. I mean, football's, you know, people might say you make your own luck, but I think you have to carry a little bit of luck at times. And, you know, Sunderland haven't had a lot of success in cup competitions in recent years. Last time we got to Wembley, we didn't play very well. You know, let's hope we can get there again and do ourselves justice and give everybody a nice day out.
Will you be there for the semi-final?
Oh, no, I'll probably find something else to do. Of course I'll be there.
Steve, thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Well, that's the beauty of the game, isn't it? We've all got our own opinions. It was anything but a scrappy goal, I thought, that Chelsea equaliser. The revised draw, this is how it looks. Liverpool against Portsmouth. At Highbury, that will be played. The other semi-finals, Sunderland against Southampton or Norwich City at Hillsborough. Just to bring you up to date, the last score we had in that other semi, 1-1. They're in the quarter-final, rather. They're into extra time. Southampton have had Matthew Letizier and Barry Horn sent off, so that is a rare old battling performance by them, Peter.
Well, that's a terrible night, isn't it, all round at the moment. Yeah, it's a shame. They were 1-0 up, apparently, from Ruddock goal, and then they've equalised, and to have 2 people sent off is dire, especially going into extra time as well. And Barry Horn takes penalties as well.
Yes, there's 2 important penalty takers off, in fact, isn't it? Because Letizia takes penalties as well.
Perhaps Mickey Shannon's there, he might run on take that one.
Final thoughts on this one? We picked some match here, didn't we?
Tremendous atmosphere. Yeah, I think at the end of the day it was a great cup tie and it was really worth watching. It was great to be here and sample the atmosphere again at Roker. It was tremendous.
You two shook hands at the start. You've shaken hands at the finish, which is nice to see. Yeah, very happy, Jim. There'll be some beer drunk on Wearside tonight,
Yeah, delighted. You know, I mean, I think the clubs will be happy tonight. Yeah, I think fantastic game, superb atmosphere. We're through the semi-final. What more could we ask for?
What about this fella Malcolm Crosby, who I said is one of football's nice guys? It's often that the nice men don't get their rewards in their game, isn't it? But maybe for Malcolm Crosby.
Well, I think the pressure's going to be on the chairman to give him the job, really. I mean, if he puts a string of results together in the league, which is the bread and butter stuff, if they put a string of results together there, then they've got to give him the job.
Will this help or hinder in that respect, you think?
Well, it's got to help him. It's got to help them. I think you looked at Portsmouth, they're in the semi-final, their league performances have been enhanced by that. Now we hope Sunderland's enhanced by that as well. And I can't see him not getting the job.
Well, the similarities between this and 73?
Yeah, there was, except that Bob had the job then.
Yes, of course.
But, you know, I mean, he let, give people a bit more freedom. Yeah. And they responded to him like they responded to Malcolm. And things just went from...
Great night for you.
Better and better.
Great night for you, Jim. Congratulations. Yeah, for them, but as a Sunderland fan, for you too. Yeah, thanks for joining us. Peter, thank you.
Thank you, Richard.
Begrudgingly. Cricket highlights to follow us tonight here on Sky Sports. And that's about it from, well, a breathtaking evening at Roker Park. Sunderland into the semi-finals, courtesy of Peter Davenport and Gordon Armstrong. From all of us here at Roker, thanks for your company. See you next time round. Bye-bye.